Are you tired of trading your time for money only to feel stuck in a cycle that never ends? Imagine waking up each day to income that flows automatically, whether you work or not. In this audiobook, you will learn how to turn your skills, ideas, and resources into assets that pay you forever. Discover step-by-step strategies to create unstoppable wealth, how to build passive income streams, protect your money from taxes and chaos, scale side hustles into sellable assets, and automate your financial systems so your wealth grows while you sleep. You will learn how to think long-term, act decisively, and design your environment to force wealthy behavior. This is not theory. These are proven, actionable methods to stop surviving paycheck to paycheck and start building a money-making machine that never stops. Chapter 1. Turn every skill into a sellable asset. You already have assets, you just refuse to see them that way. Every skill you have learned, survived, practiced, or struggled through has economic value. The problem is not lack of talent. The problem is lack of positioning. Skills do not create wealth by existing. Skills create wealth when they are packaged, priced, and deployed with intent. Stop asking what you enjoy doing. That question keeps people broke. Start asking what problems you can solve repeatedly and predictably. Wealth rewards usefulness, not passion. Write this down today. What can you do that saves time, makes money, reduces pain, or increases status for someone else? That is your raw asset. Now sharpen it. Skills that pay forever are specific. Broad skills get applause. Narrow skills get paid. You do not need to be the best in the world. You need to be better than the person paying you. Choose one skill. Commit to improving it daily. No multitasking, no identity hopping. Next, package the skill. A skill without an offer is invisible. Turn it into a service, a system, a process, or a product. Name it, price it, present it clearly. If people do not understand what you sell in 5 seconds, you are not serious about wealth. Finally, detach ego from output. Selling is not begging. Selling is value transfer. If you refuse to sell your skills, you force yourself to sell your time instead. That is the most expensive mistake you can make. Your freedom begins the moment your skills earn without your presence. That is the foundation of assets. You now understand how to turn ability into leverage. Next, you will learn how to make that leverage work while you sleep. Chapter 2. Build income that works when you do not. If your income stops when you stop, you do not have income, you have a job. It doesn't matter how impressive the title sounds or how much respect it earns. Time-based income is fragile. It depends on your health, your energy, and your permission to show up every day. Assets do not ask for permission. You must shift your mindset immediately. Stop asking how much you can earn this month. Start asking how many systems you can build this year. Systems are the bridge between effort and freedom. You work once, the system works repeatedly. Look at your current income. Identify what part of it requires your constant presence. That is the weak link. Now ask a harder question. How can this be recorded, automated, delegated, or licensed? Can your knowledge become a course? Can your service become a productized offer? Can your process become a template others pay to use? These are not ideas. These are instructions. Passive income is not lazy income. It's front-loaded effort. You grind early so you can breathe later. Most people fail because they want rewards without repetition. They quit before the system matures. You must stay long enough for momentum to replace motivation. Another rule: income that works without you must be boring, predictable, unsexy. Flashy income depends on attention. Durable income depends on structure. Choose structure. Set a non-negotiable goal. Build one income stream that does not require daily involvement.
One is enough to change your psychology. Once you see money arrive without effort, your standards rise. You stop tolerating financial chaos. This chapter is about reclaiming time. Time is the raw material of wealth. Without time, assets cannot compound. Without assets, time is wasted labor. Now you understand why effort alone keeps people trapped. Next, you will learn where to build assets that you actually own, not platforms that can erase you overnight. Chapter 3. Own digital real estate, not just social media. Attention without ownership is a trap. Social media makes you feel productive while keeping you powerless. You build audiences on rented land, then act surprised when the rules change. Algorithms shift, accounts vanish, reach disappears overnight. You did the work, someone else kept the asset. Stop confusing visibility with control. Likes do not equal leverage. Followers do not equal freedom. If you do not own the platform, the data, and the relationship, you do not own the income. Digital real estate means assets you control. Email lists, websites, landing pages, communities behind logins, products hosted on your infrastructure. These are boring words to people chasing virality. These are powerful words to people building wealth. Here is the rule. Use social media as a funnel, not a foundation. Its only job is to move people off the platform and into something you own. Every post should lead somewhere permanent. Every video should capture an email. Every piece of content should deepen a relationship you control. Now get practical. If you do not have a website, build one this week. Not perfect, functional. If you do not have an email list, start today. One subscriber is better than zero. Write to that list consistently. Treat it like an asset, not a hobby, because that list can sell, launch, test, and scale without asking permission. Digital real estate compounds. One article can work for years. One page can convert while you sleep. One email sequence can sell while you travel. This is how you detach income from constant creation. Stop chasing trends that expire. Start building infrastructure that endures. Platforms reward creators until they don't. Owners do not rely on luck. You are not here to be famous. You are here to be free. Ownership is the price of that freedom. Now that you understand where real leverage lives, it's time to talk about what you buy first and what you delay without regret.
Chapter 4. Buy boring assets before shiny toys. Wealth is not loud. Poverty is. Shiny toys are marketed to distract you from the truth. Cars, gadgets, luxury upgrades. They signal success while silently stealing your future. Every flashy purchase you make before owning assets is a vote for short-term pleasure over long-term power. Boring assets do not impress your friends. They impress your bank account. Cash-flowing businesses, index funds, rental properties, royalties, intellectual property, systems that generate predictable returns. These things do not sparkle, they compound. Here is the hard rule. If it does not pay you, it is a liability. Even if it feels good, even if it boosts your confidence, even if society applauds it. The order matters. Assets first, toys later. Reverse the order, and you work forever to maintain appearances. You must retrain your reward system. Stop celebrating consumption. Start celebrating ownership. When money comes in, your first question should not be, "What can I buy?" It should be, "What can I acquire that produces more money?" Delay gratification aggressively. Not forever, just long enough to win. Most people buy toys to feel successful. Wealthy people buy assets to become unstoppable. One path leads to stress disguised as success. The other leads to freedom disguised as boredom. Practical action. Create an asset rule. For every major purchase you want, require an asset purchase first. Want a new car? Buy an income-producing asset that covers the payment. Want luxury? Force leverage to fund it. This single rule changes behavior permanently. Boring assets create options. Options create confidence. Confidence allows patience. Patience allows compounding. This is the quiet formula behind visible wealth. You are not building a lifestyle, you are building a machine that funds your life without draining your energy. Discipline now prevents desperation later. Once you begin acquiring assets, protecting them becomes the next battlefield. Wealth lost to chaos and taxes is wealth never earned. Chapter 5. Protect the asset machine from taxes and chaos. Building assets is only half the job. Keeping them alive is the other half. Most people lose wealth not because they failed to earn, but because they failed to protect. Taxes, lawsuits, poor structure, and sloppy decisions quietly dismantle what took years to build. You must start thinking like a steward, not a spender. Money without structure attracts chaos. Income without protection invites loss. If you grow faster than your systems, you become your own biggest risk. First, respect taxes. Taxes are not punishment, they are the cost of playing the game at a higher level. The mistake is ignoring them until they explode. Learn the basics, understand deductions, separate personal and business finances, use legal entities correctly, pay professionals who know the rules. Every dollar you save legally is a dollar that can compound. Second, reduce chaos. Chaos comes from unclear processes and emotional decisions. Asset machines require order. Automate payments. Track cash flow weekly. Document systems. If something depends on your memory, it is broken. Clarity is protection. Third, ensure what matters. Assets without protection are exposed targets. Insurance is not fear, it is discipline. You do not build a house and hope it never rains. You prepare. Now, the behavioral shift. Stop making financial decisions when you are tired, angry, or excited. Emotional money decisions destroy years of progress in moments. Create rules in calm seasons. Follow them in storms. Protection is not about paranoia. It is about permanence. You are building something meant to last longer than motivation and luck. Structure gives assets a longer life than ambition ever could. Wealth that survives is wealth that compounds. Compounding requires time. Time requires protection. You now have assets and systems. The next step is making growth unavoidable, not hopeful, not optional, inevitable.
Chapter 6. Make wealth inevitable with relentless reinvestment. Wealth becomes inevitable the moment you stop interrupting compounding. Most people sabotage growth by pulling money out too early. They reward themselves before the system is strong. That choice feels good today and costs them decades. Reinvestment is not a tactic, it is a philosophy. You take profits and send them back into the machine, again and again, until the machine is louder than your effort. This requires restraint. You must resist lifestyle upgrades that arrive before leverage. Every dollar you reinvest is a worker you hire. Every dollar you spend prematurely is a worker you fire. Decide which future you want. Set a rule. Reinvest the majority of profits until your assets cover your basic life expenses, not desires, not luxuries, survival. Once the floor is secure, everything changes. Pressure disappears. Risk becomes rational. Patience becomes natural. Reinvestment also sharpens focus. When money stays in the system, you care more about efficiency. You track numbers. You optimize processes. You stop guessing. You start operating like an owner. Another discipline: reinvest into what already works. Do not chase novelty. Scale proven winners. Boring growth beats exciting failure. The goal is not variety. The goal is dominance in one lane. Momentum is fragile early and unstoppable later. Most people quit before momentum takes over. They underestimate how close they are. Stay long enough and growth begins to feel unfair.
Wealth is not built through one big win. It is built through consistent reinforcement of small wins. Reinvestment is how wins multiply without asking permission from motivation. You are no longer chasing money, you are directing it. Direction creates destiny. Now that reinvestment is locked in, you must shape your surroundings to support the person you are becoming. Discipline is easier when the environment does the work. Chapter 7. Design your environment to force wealthy behavior. Willpower is unreliable, environment is permanent. If your surroundings encourage comfort, distraction, and impulse, your financial goals will always lose. Successful people do not rely on discipline. They design systems that make the right behavior automatic. Look around you. Your phone, your workspace, your home, your calendar. These are not neutral. They are instructions. Every notification trains distraction. Every cluttered space signals disorder. Every unplanned hour invites waste. Start with your inputs. Remove constant noise. Reduce social media. Limit news. Eliminate sources that normalize financial mediocrity. What you consume shapes what you tolerate. You cannot build wealth while absorbing chaos. Next, structure your time. Block hours for asset building first, not last. Mornings are for creation, not consumption. Energy is highest before the world demands from you. Use it to build, not scroll. Now design friction. Make bad habits hard. Make good habits easy. Auto-invest. Automate savings. Set recurring transfers into asset accounts. Remove spending apps from your phone. Put distance between impulse and action. Friction protects progress. Upgrade your visual cues. Surround yourself with reminders of ownership, not consumption. Track net worth visibly. Post goals where you see them daily. Your brain follows what it sees repeatedly. The key shift is this: stop asking yourself to act wealthy. Force yourself to behave wealthy through design. Behavior repeated becomes identity. Identity sustained becomes destiny. Your environment either pulls you forward or drags you backward. Choose deliberately. Once your behavior aligns with wealth, the next step is alignment at home, because building alone is slow. Building together multiplies effort.
Chapter 8. Turn your family into a wealth-building team. Wealth built in isolation is fragile. Wealth built with alignment is powerful. If your household pulls in different financial directions, progress slows and resentment grows. Money conflict is rarely about numbers. It is about vision. You must lead the conversation. Avoiding money talks does not create peace. It creates confusion. Sit down and define a shared destination. What does freedom look like for your family? Time? Security? Options? Write it down. Agreement on direction eliminates friction. Next, assign roles. Every team needs responsibility. Someone tracks numbers. Someone manages systems. Someone focuses on learning. This is not about control. It is about ownership. When everyone contributes, everyone cares. Teach the language of assets early. Children learn spending naturally. They must be taught ownership intentionally. Explain how money can work. Show them income streams. Involve them in simple decisions. You are not raising consumers. You are raising operators. Set household rules that favor long-term thinking. Delay large purchases. Discuss trade-offs openly. Celebrate discipline, not impulse. Normalize investing conversations the same way others normalize shopping. Another critical behavior: eliminate secrecy. Hidden spending destroys trust. Transparent finances create accountability. Teams win because information flows freely. Your family does not need to agree on everything. They need to agree on the mission. When the mission is clear, sacrifice feels temporary instead of painful.
Wealth passed down intentionally lasts longer than wealth stumbled into accidentally. Alignment turns effort into legacy. With your inner circle aligned, you are prepared for external shocks. The next lesson teaches you how to use chaos as fuel instead of fear. Chapter 9. Turn crises into asset-buying seasons. Crisis reveals character. Most people panic, freeze, or retreat. Builders prepare and advance. Economic downturns do not destroy wealth, they transfer it. Assets do not disappear, they change hands. Your job is not to predict crises, your job is to be ready for them. Readiness turns fear into opportunity. Opportunity favors those with liquidity, clarity, and patience. First, reframe uncertainty. Volatility is not danger, overexposure is. If you have followed the earlier rules, you already reduced fragility. Low debt, cash reserves, multiple income streams. These create optionality. Optionality is power. During crises, prices fall faster than value. That gap is where wealth is made. Businesses, real estate, equities, and skills become discounted. The public focuses on headlines. You focus on fundamentals. Is the asset useful? Does it produce cash flow? Will demand exist in the future? If yes, fear is irrelevant. Another discipline, move slowly but decisively. You do not need to catch the bottom, you need to act while others hesitate. Partial investments beat perfect timing. Waiting for certainty guarantees missed opportunity. Emotion is expensive in crises. Train yourself now. Write rules before panic arrives. Define what you will buy, when, and why. When chaos hits, follow the plan, not the crowd. History repeats because behavior repeats. Those who prepare quietly acquire loudly later. Crises reward builders with courage and structure. They punish consumers with debt and denial. You are no longer reacting to the world. You are positioned to benefit from it. Now you must learn how to balance long-term vision with short-term execution, because opportunity wasted is opportunity lost.
Chapter 10. Think in decades, act in days. Short-term thinking creates long-term struggle. Long-term thinking creates daily discipline. The mistake most people make is choosing one without the other. They either dream without action or grind without direction. You must do both. Thinking in decades gives you patience. It reminds you that real wealth is built slowly, quietly, and deliberately. No overnight success lasts. No shortcut survives time. When you anchor your vision 10 or 20 years ahead, small setbacks lose their power. You stop overreacting. You stop quitting. Acting in days creates momentum. Big goals die when they are not translated into daily action. Decades are built one ordinary day at a time. What you do today matters more than what you plan for next year. Here is the discipline. Set a long-term target that scares you slightly and excites you deeply. Financial independence, asset income replacing your job, a sellable business. Then reverse engineer it into daily non-negotiables. One outreach, one page written, one system improved, one investment reviewed. Do not wait for motivation. Motivation follows movement. Action creates clarity. Clarity builds confidence. Another rule, measure progress weekly, not emotionally. Feelings fluctuate. Data tells the truth. Track what matters. Assets built, cash flow generated, skills improved. Ignore vanity metrics. Urgency without vision causes burnout. Vision without urgency causes stagnation. Balance is power. When you operate this way, time becomes an ally. Days feel productive. Years become unstoppable. You are no longer drifting, you are steering.
Now that your time horizon is clear, it is time to address the silent enemy of wealth, consumption disguised as learning. Chapter 11. Stop consuming information, start executing it. Knowledge alone is worthless. Most people drown in information and starve in execution. Books, podcasts, videos, articles. They make you feel productive, but they do not pay bills. Skills and action pay bills. The truth is brutal. You already know enough to start. You may not know everything, but waiting for perfect knowledge is procrastination disguised as preparation. Action converts knowledge into wealth. Consumption does not. Start by auditing your learning. Stop endless scrolling. Stop oversaturating with courses you will never finish. Identify one principle, one skill, one system. Apply it, test it, measure it, repeat. Execution teaches more than theory ever will. Next, create micro deadlines. Set short-term goals that force application. Build something this week, not someday. Send one proposal, launch one product, make one investment. Results are lessons wrapped in reality. Feedback is immediate. Adjust, improve, continue. Another rule: measure progress weekly, not emotionally. Feelings fluctuate. Data tells the truth. Track what matters. Assets built, cash flow generated, skills improved. Ignore vanity metrics. Urgency without vision causes burnout. Vision without urgency causes stagnation. Balance is power. When you operate this way, time becomes an ally. Days feel productive. Years become unstoppable. You are no longer drifting, you are steering. Now that your time horizon is clear, it is time to address the silent enemy of wealth, consumption disguised as learning. Chapter 12. Live like the person whose assets already pay them. Identity comes before income. People wait to feel wealthy before they behave responsibly. That delay keeps them stuck. You must reverse the order. Act like the person whose assets already cover their life, and your decisions will start producing that reality. This does not mean pretending or overspending. It means adopting the discipline, patience, and restraint of someone who understands leverage. Wealthy behavior is calm. It is intentional. It does not chase validation. Start with spending. People with asset income protect cash flow. They question every expense. They ask what this cost prevents them from owning later. They value optionality more than appearance. Begin saying no without explaining yourself. Next, upgrade your decision speed. People with financial security think clearly because desperation is gone. You simulate that by removing urgency from non-essential choices. Slow down purchases. Pause commitments. Silence creates better judgment. Now adopt the schedule. Asset owners guard mornings. They plan weeks. They do not fill their calendar with distractions. Time is treated as capital. Every hour is either invested or protected. Another shift. Stop fantasizing about escape. Asset owners are building, not dreaming. They focus on systems, not shortcuts. They accept boring progress because boring progress compounds. Finally, speak differently. Eliminate victim language. Stop blaming systems, markets, or timing. Responsibility sharpens execution. When you live this way, your environment adjusts. Opportunities increase. Stress decreases. Confidence stabilizes. You do not wait for assets to change you. You change so assets can grow through you. Now that your identity aligns with ownership, it is time to expand your vision beyond survival and into scale. Chapter 13. Stop thinking small. Start building asset empires. Small thinking feels safe. It keeps expectations low and effort minimal. It also guarantees limited outcomes. Wealth does not respond to caution disguised as humility. It responds to vision backed by execution.
An asset empire does not mean chaos or excess. It means scale with intention. Systems that grow beyond your direct involvement. Income streams that reinforce each other instead of competing for attention. You stop building projects, you start building platforms. The shift begins in how you plan. Stop asking, how can I make extra money? Start asking, how can this grow without me? If an idea depends on your constant presence, it is not an asset, it's a job in disguise. Next, think in layers. One asset feeds another. Cash flow funds skills. Skills improve systems. Systems produce more cash flow. This loop is how empires form, not overnight, gradually, deliberately. Another rule: stop capping your own progress with imaginary limits. People say things like, I just want enough. Enough is undefined. Undefined goals shrink under pressure. Define outcomes: monthly asset income, equity ownership, exit value. Specific numbers create strategic behavior. Empires are built by owners who delegate, document, and detach. You must learn to let others execute. Control kills scale. Systems protect quality while freeing your time. Finally, expand your tolerance for responsibility. Bigger assets require clearer thinking and stronger discipline. Pressure increases before freedom arrives. That is normal. Do not retreat when things get heavier. That weight is proof of growth. Thinking big is not arrogance. It is respect for your potential. Now that your vision is larger, you must protect your mind from distractions that steal focus and dilute ambition. Chapter 14. Replace entertainment with education that pays you. Entertainment is designed to consume your attention and return nothing. It relaxes you temporarily while quietly training you to avoid effort. Education that pays does the opposite. It stretches you, challenges you, and rewards you long after the discomfort fades. This is not about eliminating rest. It is about eliminating default distraction. When boredom appears, most people reach for entertainment automatically. That reflex costs years. You must interrupt it. Audit your inputs honestly. Track how many hours disappear into content that entertains but does not equip. Those hours are not neutral. They are extracted from your future. Now, replace, not remove. Swap passive entertainment with active learning tied to execution. Study skills with market value: sales, writing, systems, negotiation, investing. Then apply what you learn immediately. Education without action becomes mental clutter. Set a rule. For every hour of entertainment, invest an equal hour into skill building or asset-focused learning. Balance creates awareness. Awareness leads to better choices. Another discipline: learn with intent. Do not consume randomly. Identify one outcome: increase income, reduce expenses, improve leverage. Choose learning that directly supports that outcome. Irrelevant knowledge is expensive. Education that pays creates confidence. Confidence improves decision-making. Decision-making compounds results. The goal is not to become a walking library. The goal is to become dangerous with one or two high-value skills. Depth beats breadth. When learning becomes strategic, time stops leaking. Your mind becomes an asset, not a playground for distractions. You are now investing in your earning power. Next, you will learn where to deploy capital first and why skill always precedes speculation.
Chapter 15. Buy skills before you buy stocks. Investing without skill is gambling with better marketing. Markets reward understanding, not hope. Before you send money into assets you do not control, you must invest in the one asset that multiplies every other: your skill set. Skills create income. Income creates capital. Capital creates options. Reversing this order leads to frustration and fear. People who invest without earning power panic when volatility arrives. Those with skills see downturns as temporary. Start here. Identify one high-leverage skill that increases your income directly. Sales, negotiation, writing, technical problem-solving, systems design. These skills follow you across industries and economies. They do not disappear in recessions. Now invest intentionally. Courses, mentors, tools, and practice. But here is the rule: no passive learning. Skills are earned through repetition and feedback. Practice in public. Sell before you feel ready. Learn faster by doing. Another principle: skills improve your judgment. When you understand how money is made, you invest better. You recognize strong businesses. You avoid hype. You ask smarter questions. Stocks are multipliers, not foundations. Without cash flow, they feel risky. With cash flow, they feel patient. Build the engine first, then fuel it. People chase investments to escape work. Wealthy people master work that produces leverage. Skills give you control. Control reduces fear. Do not rush to invest because others are. Build capacity first. The market will still be there when you are ready. Once your skills produce income, ideas begin to multiply. The next lesson teaches you how to convert ideas into ownership instead of endless discussion. Chapter 16. Turn your ideas into contracts, not conversations. Ideas are cheap. Execution is rare. Conversations feel productive because they create motion without risk. Contracts create results because they demand commitment. If your ideas live only in discussions, they are entertainment, not assets. Stop talking and start formalizing. The moment an idea has value, it deserves structure. Structure turns intention into obligation. Obligation turns effort into outcomes. Here's the shift. Replace verbal agreement with written terms. Replace brainstorming with deadlines. Replace promises with deliverables. If money, equity, time, or reputation is involved, document it. Clarity prevents conflict. Ambiguity invites regret. Most people avoid contracts because they fear rejection. That fear costs them leverage. Serious operators respect structure. Casual players resist it. When you introduce contracts, you filter noise and attract alignment. Now get practical. Every idea should answer 3 questions: who is responsible, what is being delivered, and when is it due? If those answers are not written, the idea is unfinished. Another rule: start small but formal. Even a simple agreement creates accountability. You can refine later. Progress beats perfection. Written expectations reduce emotional decision-making and preserve relationships. Contracts also force thinking. When you write terms, weak ideas reveal themselves. Gaps become obvious. Assumptions surface. This saves time and money before damage occurs. Ideas turn into assets when ownership is defined. Revenue follows clarity. Partnerships survive structure. Stop collecting praise for ideas that never ship. Start building ownership around ideas that move. You are no longer a dreamer, you are an operator. With structure in place, the next danger is distraction from trends that promise speed but steal durability.
Chapter 17. Stop chasing trends, build timeless assets. Trends feel exciting because they move fast. They promise shortcuts. They also expire quickly. People who chase trends spend their lives restarting. Builders who focus on timeless assets keep stacking progress. Timeless assets solve permanent problems: communication, distribution, housing, education, health, productivity. These needs do not disappear when platforms change or hype fades. Wealth flows toward what lasts. Ask yourself this before committing to any opportunity: would this still work in 10 years?
If the answer depends on attention, novelty, or constant reinvention, it is fragile. Fragile systems break under pressure. This does not mean ignoring change. It means anchoring to fundamentals. Use new tools, but build old principles. Ownership, cash flow, demand, control. These never go out of style. Another discipline. Stop reacting to what everyone else is doing. Crowds arrive late and leave early. By the time something feels safe, the upside is gone. Instead, study boring industries, improve inefficient systems, add clarity where there is confusion. Trends create noise. Assets require focus. Focus compounds. Practical step. List your current projects. Identify which ones depend on hype, which ones depend on utility. Gradually shift energy toward utility. That is where durable income lives. Timeless assets reward patience. They grow quietly. They survive downturns. They transfer across generations. You are not here to impress the internet. You are here to build something that survives attention cycles. Now that your focus is durable, the next step is removing complexity. Complexity slows growth. Simplicity accelerates it.
Chapter 18. Use simplicity as your secret wealth weapon. Complexity feels intelligent. It is not. Complexity hides mistakes and delays action. Simplicity exposes truth and accelerates results. Wealth grows faster when decisions are clear and systems are easy to maintain. Most people overcomplicate to avoid responsibility. They create elaborate plans instead of executing basic actions consistently. That behavior looks strategic, but produces nothing. Simplicity starts with subtraction. Remove unnecessary goals, eliminate low-return activities, reduce the number of projects competing for your attention. Focus is not a personality trait. It is a decision repeated daily. Next, simplify your money flow. Fewer accounts, clear categories, automatic transfers. If you cannot explain your finances in simple language, you are not in control. Confusion creates anxiety. Anxiety leads to poor decisions. Apply the same rule to assets. One strong asset beats 5 weak ones. Scale what works, kill what does not. Do not keep projects alive out of emotional attachment. Assets exist to serve you, not the other way around. Another principle. Simple systems are harder to break. They survive stress, growth, and mistakes. Complexity collapses under pressure. When life gets chaotic, simple systems keep producing. Ask this question regularly. What is the simplest action that moves this forward? Then do that. Progress favors clarity. Simplicity does not mean small thinking. It means clean execution. Large outcomes are built on repeatable basics done exceptionally well. You now understand how to remove friction from growth. With clarity and focus in place, it is time to turn side efforts into serious assets. Chapter 19. Turn side hustles into scalable, sellable assets. A side hustle that depends entirely on you is not freedom. It is overtime with branding. The goal is not to stay busy. The goal is to build something that can grow, transfer, or sell without your constant involvement. The moment a side hustle earns consistently, your mindset must change. Stop treating it like extra income. Start treating it like a business. Businesses are designed. Hustles are improvised. First, document everything. How clients are acquired, how work is delivered, how money is collected. If the process lives only in your head, it cannot scale. Write it down. Simplify it. Standardize it. Next, separate yourself from production. You do not need to disappear immediately, but you must reduce dependency on your time. Delegate tasks, automate steps, use tools, train others. Every task you remove increases the asset value. Another critical shift, build with an exit in mind. Even if you never sell, design as if you will. Clean financials, clear systems, predictable revenue. Buyers pay for reliability, not potential. Pricing also matters. Stop undercharging out of fear. Cheap attracts complexity. Fair pricing attracts seriousness. Serious clients reduce chaos.
Side hustles become assets when they operate without your personality. Brand the process, not the person. Replace heroics with systems. You are not building a job replacement, you are building leverage. Once you understand scale, time becomes your next constraint. Wealth is lost quietly through wasted hours. Chapter 20. Audit your week and fire the time wasters. Time is the only asset you cannot replace, refinance, or recover. Money can return, energy can be rebuilt, time disappears permanently. If you do not control it, someone else will. Most people do not lose time in dramatic ways, they leak it quietly. Unplanned meetings, endless messages, low-value tasks repeated daily. At the end of the week, they feel busy and produce nothing meaningful. You must audit reality, not intention. For one full week, track how every hour is spent, not roughly, precisely. This is uncomfortable. That is the point. Awareness creates change. Once the data is clear, get ruthless. Identify activities that do not build assets, skills, health, or relationships that matter. Fire them. No guilt, no nostalgia. Time wasters do not deserve loyalty. Next, classify tasks into 3 categories: build, maintain, waste. Building tasks create future value. Maintenance keeps life functional. Waste drains without return. Your goal is not perfection. Your goal is reduction. Eliminate waste first, then compress maintenance. Expand building. Another discipline: protect deep work. Asset creation requires focus. Schedule uninterrupted blocks. Guard them aggressively. Notifications are thieves. Silence is leverage. Also, stop overvaluing urgency. Urgent does not mean important. Important tasks are often quiet and uncomfortable. That is why they are avoided. Do them anyway. Every hour you reclaim strengthens compounding. Time invested daily multiplies outcomes yearly. Time wasted daily compounds regret. You are no longer managing tasks, you are managing trajectory. With time under control, the next obstacle is emotional hesitation, fear that delays action and inflates risk. Now it is time to reframe fear itself.
Chapter 21. Replace fear of risk with fear of regret. Fear is unavoidable. The question is which fear you choose to obey. Most people fear making the wrong move. That fear keeps them frozen. They avoid risk and guarantee stagnation. The more dangerous fear is the one they ignore: regret. Risk can cost you money. Regret costs you decades. Every meaningful asset requires uncertainty. There is no path to wealth without exposure. Waiting for certainty is not caution. It is avoidance disguised as intelligence. You must recalibrate your fear. Ask a better question. What will hurt more in 10 years? Losing money on a calculated risk, or knowing you never tried? One creates lessons, the other creates bitterness. Start practicing controlled risk, small bets, defined downside, clear upside. Do not leap blindly, step deliberately. Experience trains confidence faster than reassurance ever will. Another shift: stop personalizing outcomes. A failed investment is not a personal failure, it is data. Separate identity from results. Professionals evaluate decisions, amateurs evaluate emotions. Fear shrinks when you prepare. Learn the basics, build reserves, avoid reckless leverage. Preparation does not remove risk, it makes it survivable. Regret grows when you avoid action repeatedly. Each delay reinforces doubt. Momentum reverses that pattern. Action builds evidence that you can handle uncertainty. The goal is not fearlessness, it is courage with structure. When fear of regret becomes stronger than fear of loss, decisions accelerate. Growth follows. You are now equipped to act. The next challenge is durability. Building assets that survive cycles, not just good times. Chapter 22. Build assets that thrive in any economy. Economic cycles are inevitable. Prosperity rises, recessions follow. What changes outcomes is not prediction, it is positioning. Fragile assets collapse under pressure. Durable assets adapt and endure.
Stop building for perfect conditions. Perfect conditions never last. Build for stress. Assets that survive downturns create outsized rewards when stability returns. Start with demand. Ask a simple question. Does this asset solve a problem people have in good times and bad? Essentials outperform luxuries. Cash flow beats speculation. Utility outlasts hype. Next, prioritize flexibility. Assets that can adjust pricing, delivery, or audience survive longer. Businesses that rely on one customer, one platform, or one income stream carry hidden risk. Diversity of cash flow, not distraction of focus, is the goal. Another rule: keep leverage conservative. Debt magnifies outcomes. In growth, it feels powerful. In contraction, it becomes a trap. Use debt strategically, not emotionally. Liquidity creates opportunity when others are forced to sell. Also build personal durability. Skills, networks, and reputation travel across economies. When markets tighten, trusted operators still find work and deals. Relationships compound like capital. Test your assets honestly. What happens if revenue drops 30%? What expenses are fixed? What can be reduced quickly? Stress testing reveals weakness while there is still time to adjust. Resilient assets create calm in chaos. Calm creates clarity. Clarity leads to decisive action while others panic. This is how wealth survives cycles instead of being reset every decade. Now that your assets are built for endurance, progress must be enforced. Motivation fades, accountability endures. Chapter 23. Use accountability to force financial progress. Motivation is unreliable. Discipline weakens under stress. Accountability remains. When progress depends only on how you feel, it eventually stops. When progress is observed, measured, and expected, it accelerates. You must stop relying on self-promises. They are easy to break and impossible to enforce. External accountability creates pressure. Pressure creates action. Start by making goals visible. Hidden goals die quietly. Share targets with someone who will challenge you, not comfort you. Comfort maintains the status quo. Challenge changes it. Next, quantify everything. Vague goals invite excuses. Specific numbers demand behavior. Asset income targets, savings rates, skill milestones, deadlines. Write them down. Review them weekly. Numbers remove emotion from evaluation. Another tool: consequences. Attach cost to inaction. Financial penalties, public reporting, missed opportunities tracked in writing. Pain teaches faster than inspiration. Build accountability into systems: automatic investments, scheduled reviews, standing meetings with partners or mentors. Systems do not negotiate with your mood. Also, practice self-accountability with honesty. Do not rewrite history to protect your ego. Own missed targets. Analyze why. Adjust. Move forward. Accountability is not punishment. It is support with teeth. It keeps you aligned with the person you claim to be becoming. Progress forced consistently becomes momentum. Momentum reduces resistance. Resistance disappears. You are no longer hoping to change. You are structured to change. Now it is time to remove the final obstacle: the need for constant self-control.
Chapter 24. Automate your wealth so discipline is not required. Discipline is fragile. It depends on mood, energy, and stress. Systems do not. If your financial progress relies on daily willpower, it will eventually fail. Wealth that lasts is automated. The objective is simple: remove decision-making from money. Decisions create friction. Friction invites emotion. Emotion destroys consistency. Start with income flow. Automate savings, investments, and reinvestment the moment money arrives. Not after expenses, not when you remember, immediately. What you do not see, you do not spend. This single shift eliminates most financial mistakes. Next, automate asset growth. Set fixed rules: percentages for reinvestment, triggers for scaling,
thresholds for diversification. When conditions are met, actions happen automatically. No hesitation, no second guessing. Wealth grows without negotiation. Then remove yourself from maintenance. Automate bill payments, accounting, reporting, and tracking. Boring tasks drain focus and create avoidance. Automation preserves mental energy for high-level decisions and asset creation. Another critical system: automate accountability. Schedule monthly and quarterly reviews. Numbers only. No stories, no excuses. Systems either perform or they get adjusted. This keeps progress honest without emotional pressure. Automation is not laziness, it is precision. You design the system once so you do not have to fight yourself daily. Good days and bad days produce the same result. The final step is restraint. Stop interfering with the system. Trust what you built. Constant tweaking introduces chaos. Stability creates compounding. At this point, discipline is no longer required. Progress continues even when motivation fades. Assets grow. Systems operate. Time returns to you. This is the destination. Skills became assets. Assets became systems. Systems replaced effort. You are no longer chasing wealth. You engineered it.